Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. You may notice I have my hair cut. It's a little shorter than I wanted it, but my wife said, deal with it. So she's my barber. Okay, who else here? Oh, I'm not seeing everybody. Let me change my view. There we go. Okay, Mike, if you'll everybody make the mudra for the mandala, and Mike, if you'll lead us in the mandala, please.
Sashi Puki Jukshing Metap Tram Rirabling Shi Ninde Genpati Sange Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Jokun Namdak Shingla Chuparshok Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami.
Sange Chudam Zoki Chognama Chanchu Bardu Dakni Katsubchi Daki Jinso Kipe Sunamki Drola Penchir Sange Druparsho Sange Chudam Zoki Chognama Chanchu Bardu Dakni Katsubchi Daki Jinso Kipe Sunam Ki Drola Pinchir Sange Druparsho Sange Chudam Zoki Chognamwa Chanchu Bardu Dakni Katsubchi Daki Jinso Kipe Sunam Ki Drola Pinchir Sange Druparsho. Okay, let's do a little rejoicing. How many people we have in today? Yeah, let's do some rejoicing. Let's start with Katrina. What do you have to rejoice in today?
Hello. I rejoice nice weather today, and I have walked with my daughter after school, and my children are healthy, and we have class today.
Oh, well, that's very sweet. Good. That's a good rejoiceable. Okay, who's next? Mike, what do you have to rejoice in?
Oh God, I'm unprepared. What do I have to rejoice in?
Nice black cat.
Yeah, there he
What's
is.
the cat's name?
Art Vandalay.
Art Mandalay. Okay.
It's a Seinfeld reference.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I can rejoice in over the weekend I found a bunch of camera equipment that I could resell. Like I do a lot of like online arbitrage and like reselling and stuff.
Mhm.
And I found a bunch of camera equipment um, that is like worth a lot of money, and I got it for very cheap, like basically free. So that could be like a result of me, giving someone something of value in the past that would help them.
Mhm.
That's what I got.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how old was the camera equipment? Is it good? Is it recent with equipment?
And no, it's all like vintage stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like stuff from like the 70s, 80s, 90s,
Wow.
all like film cameras, and I got this like big like a video camera with like actual tapes that go in it. Yeah. So
Well, back when they did the first televised Democratic convention, they had these cameras that were huge and resting on the guy's shoulder. And I've been alive long enough to see all the way down to the tiny cartridges, and now they don't even use. I don't think they use tape cartridges anymore.
no.
It's truly amazing. My first digital camera had 700 megapixel. That 700 megapixels. Would that be the right term?
Megapixels is right, yeah.
700. And I thought that was an incredible camera. Now it's like, well, I remember when thumb drives were 256K.
Yeah, and I can get like a terabyte on one.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Okay, well, good. Yeah, generosity in the past of diverse nature ripened to you being able to have this. Well, that's really something. Okay, who's next? Anastasia, what do you have to rejoice in?
Добрый день.
Hello, everybody.
Татьяна, перевести, если возможность.
May I will speak Russian.
Спасибо.
I will translate.
Я
Thank you.
неделе и вообще в последнее время
This week and last time, I support my older sister. She has hard times, and when she starts criticizing somebody, I try to remember her about seeds system, and I do Tonglen with her. And for a person that she criticizes,
Забочусь о маме.
I take care of my mother because she has some problems with health, and I take care of with doctors, help her with doctors.
И последнее, то, что я сегодня
So,
искренне
and the
порадовалась
last for
своей
today,
знакомой, которая уже на
I
протяжении года
rejoice for my friend
не могла сдать
who
на
is
права водительские. И
for
сегодня она мне
1
написала,
year was trying
и
to make
очень
a
была счастлива,
driving
что
license
получилось
exam. So
сдать
today
на
she
права.
had this driving
Именно с
license
помощью системы
exams
себя она применяет знания.
using the SEEDS system. So she used this system and had this examination excellently.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Glad to-
Замечательно. Он так, сейчас, sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, just a second.
Did I do something wrong?
And for the translation, when you have to translate someone, you have to change your channel to English channel, not deactivate the translation because we lost the translation.
Got it. Oops.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So in a nutshell, can you repeat the rejoicing, Anastasia's rejoicing? Now I don't hear it.
Do you hear me?
No.
Do you hear
yes,
me?
Yes, I do. I do hear you now.
Did you hear Anastasia rejoice? I translated. No?
Yeah, I heard part of it, but not all of it.
Okay, so can I repeat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she rejoiced for her friend who had exam about driving license. Then she rejoiced about her mother because she had some problems with her health, and she helped her mother a lot with doctors, and she takes care of her mother.
Excellent.
And also all this using SEEDS system. So that's why she rejoices a lot.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah, like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Well, that's all encompassing. Well, I hope your mother feels better. And congratulations to your friend who passed her driving exam. That must be pretty exciting. In Russia, do you guys drive on the right-hand side or the left-hand side?
We drive for the right side.
Right side.
Ah.
The correct side. All right. Okay. Okay, who's next here? I'm gonna have to switch. Let's have Alexander and Cornelia. Okay, Alexander, you're up.
Yeah, I'm starting. So I rejoiced that today after work I was for 2 hours at the summer party at the nursing home with my wife Cornelia and our 3 youngest children. And the elderly people in the nursing home really enjoyed being able to play with such small or young children. The youngest is only 9 months. And I did this in order to also see in my future partnership, joy in life, family, good interactions between generations, and in general, peace.
Excellent. Very good. That was really fun for everybody.
It was fun also for me, yes.
Yeah,
It
good.
was really
Good.
fun.
Okay, Cornelia.
Yes, so today I went to a stream with the children for fun and enjoyment. In the stream and on the way home, I was able to take rubbish with me. I dedicated this to a beautiful environment and clear drinking water and joy of life for all beings.
Very good. Very good. That's the kind of thing I like to do. Okay, Claudia, who's that standing there with you?
Good morning, my son Santiago.
Hi, Santiago.
Leon.
Okay. Besides
Well,
such a beautiful son, what do you have to rejoice in?
Well, I believe that today I want to rejoice in the fact that we're able to have food in our table, that we have just that really, really yummy watermelon, and that we can experience all of that because we have been sharing food with a lot of people. And that's really beautiful, that the little and tiny things in life that normally I didn't think about it, today I wanted to say thank you for.
Very good. You bring up a very important topic for me, and that is, I don't know if I've talked about it with you guys, but the idea of low-level radiation is insidious. It will cause cancer. But I like to think of, so low-level radiation is similar to the small bad things we do, which grow into big bad things. So low-level radiation, you want to stop. So I think of it instead, for the good things we do is low-level radiance. It's the little tiny things we do positive things we do that will grow into big things. So it's very important not to dismiss an action as being too small. That's too small. That's not going to make much karma for me. Of course it's going to. It's going to grow and ripen as a larger good deed. So rejoicing in the small things in life, I think personally, is very important. So good. Okay, let me see who's else on my list here. Can't forget me. Okay, Mike. I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know if you guys see the young lady who's underneath Mike on the images. Not Tabitha. Name starts with a T.
Татьяна.
Tatiana. Okay, well, let's
Это
have.
я? Здравствуйте.
Okay. Hello. Uh, Thank you so much for young lady. It's very pleasant for me. Once again, hello. You see, I'm always smiling while I was listening to all of you. Yesterday, I got to know that my very small granddaughter, she is getting better because she was unhealthy. Today, my friend helped me to take care of my mother. He helped with my mother. She walked with her, and I had some rest. And I prepared very delicious and healthy food. Also, I told to my friend about pen.
Oh, good.
So this was such a funny evening. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for teaching the pen. That's wonderful. That's enormous. I'm really proud of you. That you've started this person on their journey, whether they know it or not. You've set the seeds for someone to understand the lack of the self-existent thing. That's huge. Okay, what do I have now? It's my turn. I think that's everybody. Oh no, we haven't had Svetlana.
Yeah, thank you. I also have something to rejoice that, like, I helped my father to get ready for the presentation, and I helped him to. I ordered a ride for him for those events, and he was very happy and glad for that. With my support for his presentation and for that comfortable ride, which was fast and comfortable, and I really rejoice that I can help him, and he is happy about it.
What kind of presentation was he making?
It is about mobility in multimodal mobility
Wow.
in logistics sphere.
Good. When you say you arrange a ride, do you have Uber and Lyft kind of things in Moscow?
Yes, it's like Yandex Taxi. It's like Uber. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, very good. You're setting the seeds to have the ability to get where you need to get in a comfortable way and have the help with presentations. And I want to let everybody know Svetlana did a wonderful job for producing my 2 weekends worth of death meditation. So thank you again, Svetlana. This is her first production in the big picture of things. So very proud of her. Okay, what am I rejoicing in? Let's see. I told you already I handed in my manuscript, so I can't rejoice about that anymore. Well, I can, but I won't. Let's see. Well, tomorrow I rejoice in the fact that I understand in a reasonable way karma and emptiness, because tomorrow I'm having a test to evaluate my heart. There's apparently the possibility I have a problem with my heart. So rather than be worried about it, I've done my death meditation. I'm prepared if something goes wrong. My wife assures me nothing can go wrong, which is exactly the reason I should be prepared for it. The test is apparently can be quite stressful. It's a stress test. I can't run on a treadmill anymore because of my Parkinson's. So they have to induce a stress in me chemically, which I'm not looking forward to. But I'm not looking forward to it, but I also know that this is something I need to do with wisdom and accept and be prepared. it's supposed to make you very anxious, but that's not self-existently true. I can approach this in any number. I can be scared, or I can say, okay, this is a way to get me healthy. I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to relax, take some deep breaths, and try and meditate during the test, instead of being worried and scared and anxious. So that's just another way to bring what I understand about karma and emptiness into my life. So I'll report to you all on Monday, of what it was like. Apparently they inject chemicals to make your heart race. And so it's going to be like I'm laying on a table and I'm running a marathon. I have to try not to run on the table. But, oh, I know the other thing to rejoice in. I recently got some physical therapy exercises because I'm beginning to be very stooped in my posture. And it's getting to the point where it's quite uncomfortable. So we have a physical therapist nearby, and she gave me some what appeared to be trivial exercises, but I'm doing them, and it's making a huge difference in my posture. So I'm very pleased that I'm doing the exercises, even though they seem very trivial. Again, it's a small thing I'm doing that can make a huge change in my life. So that's very exciting. Okay. So on to class. This is class 4. It's classifications of bodhicitta. So I'm going to share screen, if I can figure out how to do that. Where's my share screen? No, there it is. Share screen. I want to share screen number 1. Not quite yet. Bring that over here. Do this. And do this. Then share screen. Okay, you should be seeing ways to divide bodhicitta. Now I've lost. Okay. Let's well, that's not going to work. Hang on a minute. Okay, there we go. So ways to divide bodhicitta. There are 4 ways to better understand bodhicitta. Level of spiritual understanding, the way one thinks, its basic nature, and whether it's ultimate or deceptive. So let's look at by ways of understanding. First, we need to understand the 5 principles, 5 paths or realizations to Buddhahood. The first is path of accumulation. I will send you these slides after class. So the first is the path of accumulation. And it seems like we're accumulating merit here. And I always forget, it's not the accumulation of merit. We're accumulating enough disgust for the cycle of samsara that we want to get free of it. You reach this path with your first true instance of true renunciation. So, from the 3 principal paths, when you've meditated thus and feel not even a moment's desire for the good things of cyclic life, and when you begin to think both night and day of achieving freedom, you found renunciation. So what does that mean for us? I think when you start, for me, when I started realizing that I didn't need the fancies of equipment, I didn't need to computer equipment, I didn't need to compare myself to others. I needed to realize the important things in life. The study of the Dharma, treating people properly, and not trying to do things, not trying to act ignorantly. Actually, renunciation for me was more a matter of thinking of the 5 poisons, 6 poisons, and putting those into active use in my life. So it's not the accumulation of merit, it's the accumulation of disgust for the cycle of samsara. And as we've said many times before, you don't just drop everything and go live in a cave. What you're getting a disgust for is the ignorance of your behavior and what that's causing for your future life. And it's your ignorance of your reaction to past behavior ripening in this life. It's all on you. The disgust is in your actions, not in others. Okay. Preparation. The path of preparation. This is where we can gain the realizations necessary to prepare us for the direct perception of emptiness. In the process, we're gathering merit, the virtue that will carry us along these paths, positive karmic seeds that form the karma for the future pleasant results. So what does that mean? Path of preparation is the intense, constant, not only study of emptiness and the concept of emptiness and direct and dependent origination, but it's also the constant application of what we know is true. The idea that things aren't self-existent. It's the constant application, looking for examples, looking for teachings. This is preparing us for the direct perception of emptiness. But to get there, we need the direct perception, what I call the direct perception of dependent origination. So I want to share with you what will seem to be maybe a trivial example, but it was profound for me. So, so I'm going to South Africa on my second trip down there. And I usually always carry a headlamp with me on the airplane in case there's a crash and I survive and I need a headlamp. Seems silly, but that's one of the things I do. So I was sure I had the headlamp in my truck, and I got to Tucson from Diamond Mountain with several hours to spare, and I couldn't find the headlamp in my truck, which made no sense. I knew I put it in there. So I went and bought another headlamp, went to South Africa, came back, got in my truck, and there was the headlamp. So, had it always been there? Maybe, maybe not. But what I decided at that moment was, this is dependent origination. I had the karma, my karma was looking for the headlamp wrapped in its headband, which was a grayish headband with the word, I think it's Petzl on it. But when I saw the headlamp in my truck when I got back from South Africa, it wasn't wrapped in its headband. It was sitting there with the lens and the LEDs staring at me, black and silver. So I had the karmic seeds ripen because of my thought process for the wrapped in the headband, and it wasn't there. Then I had the karmic seeds for it to be just the headlamp lens, and there it was. So I didn't think it had always been there. I realized my karma was ripening, and then I saw it. So that was to me a very powerful example of dependent origination. The headlamp wasn't there coming at me. The headlamp was my projection. So, path of preparation. Then the path of seeing. This is a direct perception of emptiness, the experience in deep meditation of ultimate reality. This is what we're striving for, because this is our ticket to the total enlightenment. We're going to discuss all of these paths in much more detail. Okay, next. Path of habituation. This is getting used to what you experience in the path of seeing. Once you're out of direct perception of emptiness, you go back to experiencing reality in the deceptive way, but now you know you're wrong. Things appear self-existent, but you know they are projections based on your past karma and nothing but that. So I'm going to do the pen again. And those of you that were at the death meditation, you'll remember this, I hope. So I can't see the image. Well, so this looks, hopefully, how can I get back to my image? There we go. Okay. Well, this is multi-talent here. I'm actually doing it. Okay. One more thing to click on. Speaker. Let's see if I can find me. I don't see me. There we go. Okay. So what is this? This looks like a pen. So I think it's a pen. It's a metal pen. So if a dog came in, I'm not sure the dog would pick it up and use it as a chew toy. So this looks like a pen because it's got a tip, a cylindrical sides, a clip to put in my pocket. So for all intents and purposes, this looks like a pen. You may see it as a pen, but it's really a pointer. It's not a pen at all. So I have the karma ripening to see this as a pointer. You see it as a pointer, I'm assuming. But in this form, a dog would see it as a chew toy. It depends on who's observing it. Before, I knew it was a pointer all along. But before you knew it, your karma was ripening to see it as a pen. The dog's karma was ripening to see it as a chew toy. So it depends on the person looking at it, observing it, as to what it is. So it's not self-existently a pen. It's not self-existently a chew toy. It depends on our karma. So we need to get used to that once we've had the direct perception of emptiness. So the path of habituation is the process of getting used to that. This path takes a long time to gain the full realizations of it. If you're working off all the bad karmas without planting new seeds. The path of no more learning. This is where you finally reach nirvana, the Buddhahood of the lower tracks, or in the case of the Mahayana, you reach total enlightenment. All the bad, harmful, and pleasant thoughts are gone permanently. If you're in the Mahayana track, the requirement for reaching the first path is achieving renunciation and bodhicitta. The three principal paths: renunciation, bodhicitta, and correct view. He did. Okay. I got too many things on my screen now. Okay. So another way we can talk about bodhicitta is by the level of spiritual understanding. Belief in the wish for total enlightenment. This is the bodhicitta of a person who's acting out of belief that things are not self-existent. Such a person has a genuine wish to help all beings get free from suffering, but has not yet had the direct perception of emptiness. They want to help all beings and understand they can only do so in an ultimate way by becoming totally enlightened. So there's the angry boss example. I'm going to use the example of an incident that happened with me and my boss. So one day I got into work and I just had this feeling that I was going to get asked to resign that day. I don't know why, but I had this strong feeling. So I got in and I saw on my computer a message from my boss saying she needed to see me at 4:00 in the afternoon. So I emailed my wife, and I guess I called her, and I said, I think I'm about to get fired or asked to resign. So we talked about it, and I realized that I just needed to understand the three spheres, which we'll talk about in the future. So the three spheres, there's three people in the room, my boss. So we get to my meeting with the boss. She's in the room, I'm in the room, and her business manager's in the room. So she starts to talk to me about how I lost this piece of equipment. Someone stole a piece of equipment from our lab, and I was a lab manager. I didn't know it was gone because it was usually in a cabinet out of sight. So when I found out it was gone, I looked everywhere in the department for it and couldn't find it. But it was my responsibility as lab manager to not lose that equipment. So when she accused me of losing it, I said, yes, I was wrong that I couldn't find it and that I didn't realize it had been gone. Then she brought up another subject, another mistake I'd made that made it worthwhile to ask me to resign. I was in charge of samples as well. We got samples from South America of plant material that we are isolating compounds for, hopefully to work against diabetes. And the samples were supposed to be kept in a central location where I kept them at all times. The researchers were not to take the samples and store them at their own lab bench. So when she asked where the sample was, it wasn't in the locker. So I said, I'll find it. I don't know where it is. She got very upset that I didn't know where it was. And it turned out I found it in another individual's desk where it shouldn't have been. But because of my understanding of how this was all coming down, my understanding of the three spheres, I didn't blame the individual who had taken the sample inappropriately. I didn't reveal the person's name. I said simply, it's my responsibility to know where the samples are. I didn't know. I'm sorry, but I failed you there. So the bottom line was she decided that she wanted me to resign. So I could have said, well, it's not fair. All these instances are something out of my control. But I said to myself, it's my karma ripening for having been careless in the past. It's not her firing me. It's just ripening of the results of my past deeds. So I accepted it. I apologized, said it wouldn't happen again. She said, that's not good enough. I would like you to resign. So the three spheres, my boss accuses me of and not listening to what happened. So she wants me to be fired. The business manager is uncomfortable. He doesn't want to be fired. He doesn't really want me to be fired. So he's looking at my being fired in one way. She's looking at me being fired in another way. It's going to solve her problems because all her problems are coming from me, self-existently from me. And me thinking, well, I'm getting fired for my past deeds. And since I'm the one who did these things in the past, I can't get angry at anybody else except myself. And there's no point in getting angry at myself because this is happening no matter what. So that's my example of the three spheres. The angry boss, same idea. So Bert, who is a business manager, didn't see Dr. Timmerman, my boss, as being mad at him. He saw her as being mad at me. I saw her as blaming me, and she saw me as the whole self-existent reason for her problem. So we're now striving not to respond ignorantly and to burn off the old seeds while not creating new seeds. So for me, if I wanted to perpetuate this firing, being fired, I would have angrily responded, well, this particular researcher took the sample and hid it in his desk area, and that was incorrect. So it's not my fault, it's his fault. No, it was my fault for having done something similar in the past to somebody else, and now it was ripening on me, and it was turning out to get me in trouble. So rather than respond with, he did something he shouldn't have done, I just simply said, you're right. I didn't know where the sample was and I should have. So this is the kind of bodhicitta that occurs on the path of accumulation and the path of preparation. So spiritual understanding, number 2, take personal responsibility. This is the person that has had the direct perception of emptiness and so now knows how things really exist. The bodhicitta here is much stronger. There is no further intellectual belief that things are self-existent. But once out of the direct perception of emptiness for the first time, and not in deep meditation, their old habits force them to still see things as self-existent, but they know this is an error. It is now no longer an intellectual belief. You've seen it, you know by personal experience that things are not self-existent. It takes time to work off your old karmic seeds that cause you to see things as self-existent. This personal responsibility is the 6th step in the 7 steps to cause and effect of bodhicitta we've discussed. You have to do it yourself. You're responsible for your own attainment of freedom and thus can help others get free too. You have to remember, no one can plant the karmic seeds in your mind but you. No one can wear out the old seeds but you. You are personally responsible for every detail of your world. And because of that, you can change it. It's coming from you. If you want to change it, you can do it. No one else can. There are 10 levels of bodhicitta called the 10 bodhisattva bhumis, with the direct perception of emptiness as the first level. During the path of habituation, which is right after the direct perception of emptiness, the path of seeing, you get up to level 7. Then at the end of the path of habituation, you reach levels 8 through 10. Bodhicitta in the mind of a bodhisattva Arya they look at sentient being and wants to help them. When looking at other beings and objects, they no longer see them as self-existent. They no longer see themselves as self-existent. They're not yet a Buddha because they still have seeds in their mind to see things as self-existent. Now it's clear. They have seeds in their mind to see things as self-existent. These are called the subtle obstacle to omniscience. Geshe Michael has more than once explained this as, you're an Arya Bodhisattva. You've had the direct perception of emptiness. There's still these very subtle seeds in your mind. So if someone held a gun to your head and said, do you believe in karma and emptiness, lack of self-existent things? And instead of going, well, maybe, you look at them and say, yes, I no longer have the subtle obstacle. Then that results in the becoming a Buddha when you've broken through those 8, 9, and 10. So on the next one, the last one, obscuration to our limited bodhicitta. This is the bodhicitta in the mind of a person who doesn't think things are self-existent, doesn't see things as self-existent, and has no more seeds in their mind to ever see things as self-existent. And that is what is called the Buddha. Okay. The last one. Dividing bodhicitta by the way one thinks. There's king-like bodhicitta. This is where you think, I will get enlightened first, then lead others to it. This is the correct form of bodhicitta. The only way you can truly help other sentient beings is to get enlightened first and then lead others to it. The second is shepherd-like bodhicitta. I will make sure others get enlightened first and then I will do it. How can you lead someone to the total enlightenment without getting there first? This is more a reflection of the person whose heart goes out to getting others to progress on their path and hoping they get there first. Then there's the ferryman-like bodhicitta. I want to reach direct perception of emptiness, total enlightenment, along with everybody else, so we can go together. Okay, that's the end of my slideshow. So let's turn off. Where'd my sharing go? So there are two levels, one more thing to discuss. Two levels of bodhicitta by its very nature. In the form of prayer, this does not depend on taking the bodhisattva vows or engaging in bodhisattva deeds. It's like thinking about doing something but not doing it. The action form, taking the vow and engaging in bodhisattva deeds, is like thinking about and actually doing it. The vows are given in a beautiful ceremony at the end of course 7, and they are vows forever, not just this lifetime. I can give those vows, and at the end of course 7, there's an opportunity for those that want to get them. I can give them to you. the actions of a bodhisattva, someone taking the bodhisattva vows in the action form, make all your deeds much more powerful, both good deeds and bad deeds. So it doesn't mean you just get credit for the good deeds. It's much more powerful when you have a vow to do something. Action bodhicitta means to always be thinking of gaining your enlightenment, to be able to help, really help in everything you do. So the final division of bodhicitta we want to talk about today is deceptive or apparent bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Deceptive or apparent bodhicitta is wanting to become a Buddha to help all beings, wanting to, and taking the action. You're doing your best to do it. The ultimate bodhicitta is actually a code word for the direct perception of emptiness. Because that's what having the direct perception of emptiness allows you to really take bodhicitta to the level that will get you to be a Buddha. And you'll see the 10 bodhisattva bhumis. You'll participate in the 10 bodhisattva bhumis. So deceptive is maybe an inappropriate word. I like the word apparent bodhicitta. Wanting to become a Buddha to help all beings. So that's our discussion on classifications of bodhicitta. And I will send those slides to you all right after class. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them. I don't, for some reason, I'm not seeing the chat.
Yes, I have a question. Can I ask
Sure.
about freedom of choice? When all from seeds and also our thoughts, how we can make have the freedom of choice or not? How
Well,
we can
this is a good question. This is what I call
take new thoughts,
free-
new actions.
the free will question. And that's a conundrum. How do we have the choice, the free will? Well, I look at it, this is my response. In the past, so I have the free will now to respond. I can either be upset and anxious about this upcoming test, or I can take it in stride with my knowledge of karma and emptiness. So I have the free will to make that decision. How does that happen? It happens because, and this is me, it happens because in the past, I gave people the opportunity to make their own decision. And I continue to do that. I don't tell people what to do unless it comes down to, well, I tell people what to do, but I don't impose my will on them in the sense of, I don't care what you think, this is what you have to do. I learned that a long time ago. The best way to work with people is to see what they listen carefully, listen the way I want to be heard, and then make a decision. So your free will comes from allowing people in your past to make their own decisions and not impose decisions. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Does it?
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is really interesting. This is the earliest the question of free will has come up when I teach. So you set a new record. Yeah, free will is free will to me is like beginningless and endless time. At some point, you have to accept the fact that we have the ability to change our karma because of free will. We can make decisions. If we couldn't, if things were self-existent, self-existence is the absence, the opposite of free will. If you believe things are not self-existent, you by default, in my mind, believe in free will. So any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Mike's far away.
So the difference between ultimate refuge and ultimate bodhicitta. So like I know that like ultimate refuge is in like the three jewels and like not the physical
Right.
jewels themselves. Like it's but they all relate to like the ultimate Dharma jewel, Sangha jewel, Buddha jewel. It's all about emptiness and the perception of emptiness, right?
Yes.
So if ultimate bodhicitta is also perception of emptiness, like do they interrelate? Is there refuge in like ultimate bodhicitta, or
Well, yeah, ultimate bodhicitta is if you need to have bodhicitta in your heart when you have the direct perception of emptiness. So if you don't, then it's not that you're doomed. It just means that the ultimate bodhicitta, or Mahayana bodhicitta, the wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all living beings, has to be in your heart when you have the direct perception of emptiness, if you want to reach total enlightenment. Now, if you don't, if you just want to reach the nirvana level, which is great, nirvana is a wonderful thing, from what I understand, but it's not the ultimate. So ultimate bodhicitta would be the bodhicitta in the heart, the Mahayana bodhicitta in the heart of someone who's undergoing the direct perception of emptiness.
so you have to have ultimate bodhicitta first before you can take ultimate refuge?
Well, that's an interesting. You have to have ultimate bodhicitta first. The wish to free all beings before you take ultimate refuge. I think they're simultaneous. I think when you have ultimate refuge, you have ultimate bodhicitta simultaneously. That would be my first thought. I need to think about that some more. Would you email me your question again? And
Yeah.
I'll think about it and I'll get back to you all on Monday. Because that's a good question. Sometimes these definitions don't really nest together. So I'm going to look into that and make sure I figure out how those two relate properly. I love it when my students ask me questions I don't have a direct answer for. I really appreciate that. Now, when I get one I can't answer at all, then I'm just going to say it's one of the 10 questions Lord Buddha didn't answer. So when I say that, you know, I really don't know. I've only said that once and I can't remember what the question was. But okay. And Alexander, I need to thank you for your academic response to the question about my last name. That was very thorough and I appreciate it. I think I'm the dull knife, the rounded knife. That's probably what I am. Alexander, you don't know what Alexander sent me an email with a complete discussion of the name Stumpf in German. It was quite interesting. Now I have to stop saying it means I'm stupid, although I don't know. So I think that policeman was calling my dad Stumpf and saying he was dull-minded, which to me means he was calling him stupid. But my wife said I have to change that story now. I can remember like it was yesterday. My brother and I are in the back seat of a VW bus. We're looking at each other. I'm 8, he's 7. We're looking at each other saying, this guy knows our name. How does he possibly know our name? Then we asked my dad seconds later what happened. He said, none of your business. So he didn't like being called stupid. He didn't want his sons to know he'd been called stupid. Yeah, that was in 1961. Wow. That's what, 61, that's 62 years ago. And there's no video of it. A lot of my memories, my dad took motion picture film, 8mm film, family movies was what we called it back then. And a lot of my memories come from watching film, but we didn't have a camera with us at that point. So that memory is very clear and it has nothing to do with the home movie. That was really something. Okay, let's dedicate the goodness of what we've just done. By the goodness of what we've just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. Thank you for the chance to teach you this wonderful material, and we'll continue on Monday, and you all have a great weekend. What am I doing this weekend? I don't know. Oh, I'm going to a ultimate Frisbee match. The son of one of my dear students is participating in. And what else am I doing? There's something going on Sunday. Oh, I'm getting prepared for my teaching on September 17th. I'm teaching the daily life, wisdom in daily life in the morning. And then a little bit after that, I'm teaching a class on rejoicing. So if you're interested in those, go to the website and you should be able to find them and join us. That should be fun. Okay. Bye, everybody. Love you all and thank you so much for being students. It's a treasure for me to be able to try and help you with this wonderful material. Okay. Thank you, translator. Thank you, recorder. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Спасибо, до свидания.